Hello everyone, welcome to NFLementary on a very special day. It's Mark's birthday, and on that note, I hope you all enjoyed that little cheeky surprise I had planned. Mark, we do have a present for you.
Oh no, oh dear.
I thought I forgot it. We got you some Milky Bar buttons because you are the Milky Bar kid.
Oh, thank you so much.
Other white chocolate based confectionery is available. It's Mark's 21st birthday. We're here on NFLementary. I'm finally back and I am loving it. Super excited to bring you the show today. We've got a lot of great stuff planned, including...
Who's this? Who's manning the controls at the moment?
I think maybe we should just talk to ourselves from now on.
The NFLementary saviour.
He left us for two episodes.
I'm actually really sad. Thursday I could take, but Tuesday was rough. I was just sitting in the corner of the room crying during my seminar.
Just with headphones in.
Probably was, to be fair, because you were talking about like genocide. Like,
yeah,
it's not really
great fun.
Yeah.
How to cheer yourself up on a Tuesday morning. Yeah. Another quick notice about today. We will probably have to play shows. You may have noticed our YouTube channel hasn't been as active as it should be recently. That's because we're struggling with getting the audio through from our shows. So we're going to try and go down the old Mixcloud route that I so angrily denounced 2 weeks ago. And now we've come crawling back like the bitter X that we are. But sorry, Mixcloud. You're useful at times.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Today we're going to be previewing Week 9 action. Is that what we're on now?
Yeah.
Previewing Week 9 action, having a look back at some of the trades with our news segment. And of course, bringing you all the classic NFLementary chat. Looking forward to it. You are why. So let's get right down into it. Week 9 predictions. Did we have a jingle for this segment?
No.
Something about predictions?
Oh, wasn't it? Predictionary.
Oh yeah.
Predictionary.
I'll take it. So going through the games, obviously if you haven't listened to a Thursday show before, this is a non-discussion part. This is simply where we go through and name the team that we think we will win. And if you want to talk about the game more, you have to use the week's special code words, which this week I propose we use birthday.
Yeah.
In homage to Mr. Boyer celebrating his 21st. As always, if you do want to get in touch, I am manning the messages system. The guru of messages is back in the seat, so panic not, Mark's dad, if you're listening. The number to text is 07851 101 313. That's 07851 101 313. Or, much easier, send us a message via the website, ury.org.uk. There's a little box. Just pop in whatever you want, but please make sure it's nice or something we can talk about. Don't just give me hate. Which has happened before. Right, so first game, Thursday Night Football this week is it like the Bayou Battle? Is that what you call it? Or the Battle of the Bay? Battle of the Bay, is it, isn't it?
Yeah, the Bayou is in New Orleans.
Yeah, good thing I didn't say that on live radio, isn't it?
No, the Bay Area rivalry.
The Bay Area. The Bay Battle. The Battle of the Bays.
These teams are no one's bays.
These are bays.
49ers Raiders, what we got?
Maybe Bay stands for behind everyone else.
Bayhind.
Yeah, and I think people will be happy to see the Bayhind of the Raiders.
This is a game between two of the strongest teams of the NFL. Because they're at the bottom holding everyone else up.
Yeah. Well, they are holding up some pretty strong divisions.
Raiders.
Nice. I think I want to talk about this one a bit more, maybe.
No.
I picked Derek Carr over CJ Beathard, so Raiders.
I wouldn't. I picked Shanahan over Green.
Well, yeah, but
well, my chair's gone down.
The Raiders have to win something.
Yeah, not this game. I don't think they will win anything else this season, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, that would be
That's
rough.
A big prediction.
15.
But, yeah.
At least they wouldn't be going 0-16.
Gruden's tanking. Controversial. Redskins Falcons. This was an interesting one, actually, because it's two teams that I passionately hate. And it came down at first to who I hate more, which is obviously the Falcons, and then it came down to actually the Falcons are better than the Redskins, so I'm going Falcons.
I'm going Falcons. I think their offense is lights out, and I think they're just going to shoot out more. Their defense isn't great, so...
Redskin defense is fantastic, but Alex Smith is just...
Redskins.
You're going Redskins?
Redskins.
Nice.
Yeah,
one.
they're on the roll.
It.
They're on the roll.
Adrian
Peterson is back. Alex
Adrian
Smith
Peterson
is good.
is
They've got more on defense now. They're in it. They feel like they can win this division. You're going to have to beat Atlanta.
Yeah. You know what? I don't hate the prediction. I'm yet to do my weekly pick'em, so I could go for Redskins.
Don't get me wrong. I love Atlanta's offense.
What a snake, picking one in this and one in the other, so you're always a winner.
I'll win at something, yeah. Vikings Lions.
Vikings, Lions.
It's in Minnesota, so
Yeah.
Oh, Vikings. Yeah.
Minnesota,
I'm
yeah.
going Vikings.
They
Yeah.
need to win.
Or should I just
something.
go Lions just for the hell of it?
Why? Do you really think the Lions can actually win this game?
If he was in Detroit,
no,
yeah.
In fairness, I'm gonna birthday this game because I have something to say about the Lions. But we'll move on. Ravens Steelers birthday straight up. What a game!
Ravens. They're going to sweep the Steelers.
I'm going Steelers. I did at first underline Ravens, then I scribbled it out and underlined
undid it.
Steelers instead.
Ooh.
Yeah, but we will definitely talk about that one.
Mhm.
Browns Chiefs birthday because there's a lot of things that I need to say that I couldn't say on Tuesday concerning the Browns and their management structure. Maybe something happened this week. I don't know. We'll talk about it in the birthday section.
Mhm.
But
Well, Kansas City are going to win. I think it's just a matter of how many
Points deficit.
points. Yeah.
are you Kansas as well, Mark?
Of course.
Didn't you bet against Kansas?
You'll
last
still
week?
put Browns in the pick'em though, won't you?
No, I have actually picked Chiefs. I'm
It
trying
would-
to.
You
catch
trying to
up.
resurrect your reputation.
It would be amazing if they were to win this, but
It would be very cheap.
You can guarantee this would be the week.
Yeah, it is cold in Cleveland.
it's not particularly
Has
warm in
Patrick-
Kansas City.
Has
either
Patrick
right now.
Mahomes played in cold yet? Like Denver,
Kansas is-
Denver Heights.
Kansas ain't that warm.
Is Kansas in the Dust Bowl? Have I like that area of states? Is it in Oklahoma?
No, Kansas City's in Kansas.
Yeah, but is it like yeah?
Yeah. No,
Wow.
it's kind of like central.
Yeah.
So it gets warm when it gets warm, but it gets cold when it gets cold. So
At the moment, it's cold.
yeah.
And that's the weather report for this week. Thanks very much, guys.
Yeah.
Dolphins Jets.
Dolphins.
Dolphins went to New York and beat the Jets. So I'm saying the Jets are going to go to Miami and beat the
Interesting.
Dolphins.
I want to go Jets because I really like the Jets and I like Sammy Darnold. But
Brock Osweiler.
It's
Brocktober,
Brocktober.
baby.
Oh no, it's not Brocktober anymore.
It's Brovember. Interestingly, I will be doing Movember this year.
Will you?
Yeah, I decided kind of.
You've got to shave
on
it all off now.
Yeah, I
then.
will. I'll be doing it later on. If you want to check in on some pictures, check me out on Facebook. I might put them up on NFLementary Twitter. Why not?
What moustache are you going for?
Whatever I can grow. Let's be honest. A handlebar, but it will take me 3 years to grow.
Yeah.
How long has this been taking?
Well, I trimmed it the other week.
Okay.
I should have let it grow, and it would have been more dramatic.
A big bushy beard.
Yeah. So if you do want to donate, I'll probably plug it every week on the show.
I think you should go for the Ryan Fitzpatrick beard.
That would be awesome.
That would
wouldn't
be
it?
amazing. Yeah.
But that's not Movember. That's like beard Ember.
That's like beard 3 years.
Yeah. Excuse me. I don't know why I got onto Movember.
Brovember.
I don't know
Brovember,
either.
yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I just think that weirdly the heat in Miami has played a significant role in a lot of games this year. So I'm going Dolphins, and so are you, Mark, and Max, you're going Jets. Bills Bears.
Whoops.
Nathan Peterman will be starting.
Will he?
Yeah, because Derek Anderson's out with concussion.
Oh,
Bears are my fantasy defense. Shalom.
right. Again, so it's a matter of by how many points in it.
I'm just going to instantly put all three of us down for Bears.
I'm
Yes.
going to go 45-6.
Bills.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
I think that will be an achievement for the Bills to get 6 points.
Yeah.
Panthers Bucks. Me and Max will be watching this game. Mark, you are definitively invited on Sunday.
It's in
Sunday.
Carolina, but it's Fitzmagic.
Bucks.
What? Okay, fine. Do you know what? Fine, because I get more points when the Panthers win. I don't even care that you betrayed me like that.
Birthday Bucks.
You want a birthday? You want
I'm
a
going to birthday the Bucks.
I don't want to get too excited about the whole Ryan Fitzpatrick thing.
Oh, I've already put you down for Bucks.
Oh, okay.
You can have Panthers if you want. I mean, I'm not going to complain.
I think Carolina are going to win this game.
Nice one.
Because it's not in Tampa Bay.
One of us has to
And
support your
Carolina
team,
are
Max.
undefeated at home.
They're undefeated in the last 9 games at home.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They're a very good home. They're a very good home team.
It's because Cam. Seahawks Chargers. I'm going to birthday this one. I think it's a really interesting matchup. This is probably one of the ones I struggled with the most, actually.
I'm
Seahawks.
going with Los Angeles.
Yeah, so am
I was there like, what? They're not playing in this game. The Rams just come in and take the win.
Are you still? The Rams are that good. They're winning games they don't even play. Right.
No, I'm going Seahawks. They're
I.
on.
Interesting.
As much as I hit on,
It's on Phillip Rivers.
as much as I hit on the
Hey,
Seahawks,
Philip.
as much as I knock down the Seahawks, I think they're going to win this one.
Hate on.
Hate on. That's
Yeah,
the word I'm
not
looking
hit
for. As much as I hit on.
The entire Seahawks organization. Broncos, Texans.
Ooh.
Really interesting. I'm going
Houston
to
Texans.
birthday this. This would be a secondary birthday if we have time. You both going Texans?
Yeah.
I also go Texans, yeah. Sometimes I like to be a contrarian and just pick the opposite of what those guys think, but in certain scenarios, it's just, like I don't want to risk my point for next week.
Yeah.
Who's winning in our league, by the way?
You.
Yeah, you.
Sound.
In the one this week, because you only lost 2 and you were ahead anyway.
I'm just Mr. Column. You know, he was there last year, he's back again this year. If you ever need betting advice, come to me. I might start online betting. Not that I'm promoting it on a show before the watershed or anything. Do not online bet.
Gamble responsibly.
Yeah. Saints Rams.
It's a birthday. It's definitely a birthday.
I would have birthdayed it if you didn't.
Saints.
Oh!
Yeah.
I'm going Rams, man. I can't
Rams.
see anyone knocking down this train.
You think Los Angeles Rams are going to go into that Superdome
Yeah.
and beat the New Orleans Saints
Yeah.
in
And
the
I'll
Superdome?
tell you why in the next hour, the next 47 minutes and 30,
Is a goat
46
still a
minutes and 30
goat
seconds.
if it's in a dome? There you go.
Is a goat still a goat if it's on a mountain? Yes.
It's a mountain goat.
This is a dome goat.
Patriots, Packers.
Before the season, I would have said Green Bay, New England are winning this game.
I'm gonna I can't believe no one's birthdayed it yet. Firstly, I'm birthdaying it. What a matchup to discuss. I also am going New England.
Oh, I've put New England down here, but the Packers have just come off a good game against the Rams.
That's
they
why I
lost.
want to talk about the Rams against the Saints.
But I think the Patriots are going to win.
All of us have gone Patriots. Sorry, Aaron Rodgers. Maybe you're not the greatest of all time. Cowboys, Titans.
Titans.
Cowboys are a very good home team right now.
I also agree with Cowboys.
That's why I was going to go Cowboys, but I was like, yeah, whatever.
Right, there's our predictions. You are why. Right, on to birthday time. What was the... Vikings, Lions. I birthdayed this one just because the Lions, being probably the most consistently inconsistent team in the league, a title they share with... a title they're contending with teams such as the Dolphins, the Packers, the Cowboys, the Titans. There's a lot of consistently inconsistent teams this year, and I do think the Lions might just show up and be like, "Wazow!" Particularly given the Vikings' tendency to maybe not show up when they need to. Bills,
Yeah.
but I went with Vikings in the end because Kirk Cousins is having an amazing season, and he could
So is
probably
Adam
just
Thielen.
true. Yeah. Oh, we should probably talk about that. Adam Thielen. Is he?
If he gets...
He's done
if
8 straight
done 8
games
straight, if he gets
with
this,
over
this is
100.
Then it's the record, yeah, because he's
And-
sharing it with Jerry Rice at the moment, isn't he?
No,
Jerry Rice is-
Megatron.
Yeah.
Calvin Johnson.
Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
Calvin Harris.
Calvin Harris. Wank is in there. Oh dear.
100 is all it takes to beat my record.
I think the Vikings will win this game because if they lose this game, they are
doo-doo.
quickly falling out of the
NFC North.
not just the NFC North, but the playoff race in general.
Yeah.
So this is a must-win. But you're right about Detroit. They
They could
this
just
year
show up.
they've beaten Green Bay, albeit because of all those missed field goals, and
New England.
they've beaten New England. But then I'd put that on the fact that Patricia was there for so many years. If anyone's going to know how to beat him, it's
True.
him.
They beat Miami in Miami, which is kind of underrated. Is that their 3 wins?
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like-
They've won 3 tough games and
It's like
lost
they
4
look ahead
easy
and
ones.
they're like, oh, this game's tough, let's prepare.
Mm.
Or they're like, oh, this game's should be like a game we're in contention for, let's not prepare.
They did challenge the Vikings last year because I think they played the Vikings in the last game of the season last year, and that was a really good game. But I don't know.
I just can't see the Lions surpassing Captain Kirk and his team.
Then again, they do now have Damon Harrison.
Damon Harrison's interesting. We'll talk about it more in the trade segment, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure
But they've
how
lost
big of a
Golden
difference he'll
Tate,
make to
like-
that team. We're just essentially doing our
Yeah,
trade segment.
yeah,
We
but
will,
just
yeah.
mentioning these things,
Yeah,
like
true. Yeah, I have an answer to the Golden Tate question. Fear
Okay.
not. Next one was Ravens Steelers. Now this one I feel we're going to dedicate more than 2 minutes to. What a game! Firstly,
yeah.
you two have gone Ravens. I've gone Steelers. Give me your reasons why.
Well, I don't know because the Steelers are now 3 or 4-0 in October. So since their rough start, they have really turned
Classic
it around.
Steelers.
But going to Baltimore and winning in Baltimore is a very hard thing to do. The Saints only just did it, and the Saints are a better team than Steelers.
True.
And this is a divisional rivalry, and it is rare to have Pittsburgh or Baltimore sweep each other. But
I think
again, this is the thing. As much as the Steelers kind of need to win this game. The Ravens definitely do.
Yeah.
So if Ravens lose this game, they now suddenly have a losing record in an AFC which it's kind of anyone
Yeah.
like.
Particularly the AFC North.
Yeah. So with the Bengals at 5-3 and the
Steelers
Steelers
5-2
already,
aren't they?
yeah. If the Ravens lose this game, suddenly,
Questions start being
yeah.
asked.
Yeah, I think they're going to bounce back after their loss to Cam Newton. I think.
Smacking by Cam Newton. I wasn't here to talk about this on Tuesday, but boy, oh boy, what a guy.
Yeah, I think they're going to bounce back.
Cam VP.
They are just a very consistent team, and I reckon that basically, if they want to win, they need to find a way to shut down James Conner. Basically,
This is what I think. James Conner. Well, it's James Conner, but it's also that Steelers O-line, which is playing kind of like the Philly O-line did last year. Any time you get a quarterback, James Conner obviously has a lot of natural talent. Don't get me wrong, but he's not Le'Veon Bell. And he's currently surpassing Le'Veon Bell's production. And yes, a lot of that is to do with like the Steelers are up in games, so they're running him more, things like that. But he's also his receiving yards aren't necessarily as good as Bell, but he's getting a lot of touchdowns. And I think a lot of it obviously is to do with him, but a lot of it also is to do with players like DeCastro, Mike Pouncey. Does he play for the Steelers? I hope so. Otherwise, I look like an idiot. But essentially, the Steelers O-line is having a season and a half, and added to that is the fact that Big Ben is actually playing half decent, which is nothing to do with him being good, and all to do with the fact that he's got time in the pocket, and Antonio and Juju as his two receivers. So the strength of the Ravens is their defense. We saw last week what a half decent O-line and an experienced quarterback can do. It's going to be interesting to see what an experienced O-line can do and a half decent quarterback.
I actually think the thing that will make or break this game for the Ravens is what?
Oh, we just got a message through, I think, from Mark's dad. Firstly, happy birthday, Mark. Secondly, don't trash James Conner. He's the only reason you're leading our fantasy league column. I'm sorry that I watch the news and make the great pickups. Nick Chubb is currently on my bench. I am stacked. Nick Chubb will be starting for me this week, actually.
But yeah, I think the thing that will make or break the game for the Ravens is whether or not they can keep Flacco upright. Because the Steelers actually have a very good pass rush, and they are second in the league in sacks. And when Flacco gets pressured, he doesn't seem to be playing very well. But when Flacco has time, they're beating teams. Hence why I think they'd lost last week, because they got to him a bit and they pressured him a bit.
Yeah.
So if the Steelers can do that, they'll probably win.
It's interesting because that was interesting because it was probably the first time the Panthers' pass rushers really showed up all year.
Yeah.
Good time to do it, like.
yeah.
I can't look past the Steelers. I think Ravens and Steelers games. Do you remember that one? I think it was last year. It might be the year before.
The 39-38 game.
Yeah,
that was last year.
Yeah, when it ended with Antonio like reaching out over the goal line to score the game-winning touchdown. And it, like, firstly, Ravens and Steelers is going to be a game and a half because they always show up for each other, and it's probably one of the best division rivalries in football. I would argue, just because they hate each other so much. Arguably, Steelers Bengals, thanks to the actions of a certain Burfict, is getting up there, but I'm excited for the game, but I also just Steelers with the pedigree and the experience and the play of Connor and the O-line at the moment, and the fact that Antonio Brown at any point can just be like, yeah, sure, I'll have a 300-yard game, just chuck me the ball. I can't look past that. I just think the Steelers are going to dominate. Well, not dominate. It's going to be a close one, but they'll dominate the scoreline because they'll win.
Okay.
I'm excited to see how that plays out.
A very convincing argument.
Next one was Panthers-Bucks, birthdayed by Mark. I love talking about the Panthers, so thank you for this.
It's actually more to talk about the Bucks now they've got Fitz Magic.
Yeah, fair play. If you don't know, Jameis Winston has officially been dropped as the Bucks starting quarterback.
Only for this week, by the way. It isn't a permanent thing yet.
Yeah, but like, I don't think there's anything worse than just flip-flopping between two starting quarterbacks.
No, there's not.
And it's kind of just emblematic of a team in crisis.
And I think, I said this on Tuesday, but if they want to trade Winston, they will do the smart thing and not play him, because if he gets injured, then they have to pay him to stay, because no one's going to want to take him. But
who would you start?
Fitz.
Oh, Fitzpatrick.
He buckled against... As soon as like, not the pressure came on him, but the first 3 games of the season, he was playing with whoa.
Not really though, because
the classic gunslinger mentality. And then what was the game?
The Steelers game. The Steelers game, he was punished in the first half, and he made the comeback. And had it not been for that last drive going wrong, they would have won the game. The same thing happened with the Bears, but the problem with the Bears game is Winston was eligible. And I think that's
That
when
got
Cotter
to
was
him,
like,
yeah.
excuse. And then they threw Winston in. And Chicago didn't really score anything else, but that's got nothing to do with Winston because he kept turning the ball over.
Winston is a good quarterback.
What?
And would be a great quarterback. He's like any quarterback who gets taken first overall and plays in the NFL for a significant portion of time is good.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston's...
No, I would like to remind people of Jamarcus Russell, who ended up being like the Kelvin Benjamin of quarterbacks, who was picked by the Oakland Raiders about 10 years ago and was absolute trash.
But he didn't stick around for very long. He
Stuck around longer than he should have done.
Well, Jameis's fault is the fact that he makes reads. Well, I don't know if this is a good thing. He makes reads that no one else can read, and at times that might be, oh look, I can see this player is wide open that no one else would have clocked, or this player is going to be, we're going to. I will throw this ball to this person that no one else would have seen. At other times, it's, oh look, there's Mike Evans in triple coverage. I can do something to get in the ball.
Yeah.
Oh no, doo-doo, I've thrown an interception again. And the Bucs team's strength is his offense. That's not ever in dispute. Your defense is pretty trash.
Yeah.
Defensive secondary is trash, yeah.
And like you're going to get carved up by Cam.
Yeah.
But if your offense, the way you won those first 3 games wasn't playing conventional football. It was, let's score more points than them. And you did, and that was great. As soon as Jameis starts throwing picks, it puts all the pressure back in your defense. And let's be honest, your defense can hardly handle like the pressure of Vita Vea at the moment, sitting on the bench.
Yeah. I think the thing with Fitzpatrick in those first 2 or 3 games as well is there was no expectation on him because nothing could happen because Winston couldn't come back. And again, I don't think the pressure will be there because I don't think anyone is expecting Winston to take the job again.
Yeah.
So if Fitzpatrick goes out there with a mentality of hell to it, let's have a good time. Deshaun Jackson will like that. That's probably why he didn't get traded in the end.
Yeah.
Maybe that was part of the deal. That they were like, okay, we'll start Fitzpatrick for the rest of the season.
Imagine just putting like any other good, putting a top 5 quarterback in that Bucs offense. Like it literally makes you salivate, doesn't it? Imagine someone like
if we had Russell Wilson or someone of that ilk.
Russell Wilson, even Brady, Rodgers,
Josh Allen. Well, Josh Allen can throw those
Josh
deep
Allen
balls.
Josh Allen is not even a top 32 quarterback at this stage. We've had a message coming in. Jameis will be traded where to?
Oh,
I put forward. I can't remember if this was this week or last week, or 2 weeks ago. Jacksonville as a potential destination. So obviously he's a Florida State graduate. Bucks are in Florida in Tampa. Jacksonville's only kind of a short hop away. He gets to keep his location, gets to stay within the kind of atmosphere that he's used to. Jacksonville are crying out for
Colin Kaepernick.
Incorrectly crying out for anyone other than Blake Bortles. But
that's just like replacing like a broken leg with a broken leg. Like,
I think it's like replacing a golden hound with a mongrel. Because Blake Bortles is a golden hound.
Someone will desperately want him.
What would you take for him?
3rd round pick.
I'm looking at something like a 3rd rounder because he has done nothing in his career to keep him in those first 2 rounds as a pick. Like I said this the other day, as far as I'm concerned, he's just draft capital at the moment, waiting to be traded.
Even with quarterback bias, I don't think he's.
Would you then draft a replacement or look for someone like Teddy Bridgewater?
Have
you got your eye on anyone?
Looking at I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name, but the quarterback that plays for Alabama, his first name is Tua. He is unbelievable, and he's a left-handed quarterback, which gets me excited.
Yeah.
But he is just.
Do we have any at the moment?
I don't think there's any starting left-handed quarterbacks.
No, not at the moment. But he's really of all the quarterbacks in the draft. Because he might not get drafted yet, because he might choose to stay.
I think he'll stay another year because he's only
He's a
freshman or a junior?
He's
junior. No,
sophomore.
Yeah,
I think he's sophomore.
American college system.
He would be amazing, and I kind of want us to tank so much that we're in a position where we don't even have to trade up for it.
Quarterback classes. Look, again, I'm not going to pretend I'm some kind of expert on the quarterback college system, but I've been trying to look into this more. The big guy this year was supposed to be Justin Herbert out of Oregon.
Yeah.
But he's now deferring to complete his degree, apparently, which, he's getting some hate for it. I understand. I like the fact that he's getting a degree. But equally, if he does get injured next year, that might be his NFL career ruined. So it's kind of like the cash and what you can thing. But currently this year, then is it Drew Lock out of Missouri?
Yeah, and then there's Will Greer.
Yeah, and like there's a couple. There doesn't seem
Will
to
Greer
be.
is pretty good, actually.
There doesn't seem to be like a consensus. This is a top 5 pick guy.
No.
So maybe the Bucks would be wise. They've got him for next year, don't they? So sit him the rest of this year. Try and trade him in the offseason for a 2020 pick.
Yeah.
And then maybe use that pick to move up and get your guy.
And to be honest, I would not be disappointed with Fitzpatrick being our starting quarterback next year. Only because, again, there's no expectation. You're not our future. But frankly, what is the point trying to get someone else in? Because we're going to lose Deshaun Jackson next year through contract. Gerald McCoy's kind of coming towards the end, I would think. So some of these older star players that you might be trying to pacify, in the end, it's not worth it because you don't have time.
Yeah.
So I think keep it as it is now.
I think McCoy should stay at Tampa until
he should.
If it was up to him, I think he would.
Equally, Buccaneers might be looking at it. Whoever comes in next might look at it and go, let's do a whole Raiders on this thing and start again.
Giants.
Yeah.
But yeah, Panthers for me, as much as Fitzmagic is exciting, I can't see them overcoming the Panthers at home.
No, the Carolina defense has arrived.
Well, I don't think it has, but against the Bucks, hopefully it will. I think our secondary is actually playing better than our front seven at the moment, which has never been the case in Carolina. I think our linebackers...
They stood up to the Ravens.
Shaq Thompson had a really good game against the Ravens, yeah. And Kuechly is obviously Kuechly. Thomas Davis is doing his bits. It's just, once you start getting pressure on the quarterback, that's who I want to see us taking the next year's draft as an edge presence, but we'll definitely do a draft preview later on in the year. Broncos-Texans was the next birthday. We all went Texans.
Yeah.
There is nothing to say about this game because I think Deshaun Watson is going to do very naughty things to the Denver Broncos.
Slyly having an incredible year.
Yeah.
His only fallback has been his red zone offense, and I think part of that was maybe not having Lamar Miller for a couple of weeks because they have been a lot better. And like Deshaun Watson last week against Miami, wasn't it? Like, wow. Was it 6 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns?
16 from 20 for 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, that means like almost a third of his completions were touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's insane.
In fact, I think he scored 3. He threw 3 touchdown passes in like a collection of 6 passes. It was just crazy plays that kept happening.
Like, credit Bill O'Brien for constructing an offense like that, and credit, Deshaun Watson for. Like, there was one play where you were like, your ACL is definitely healed. Like, you did well on your rehab. It was some kind of running play where he destroyed a defender with a juke, essentially. I like Deshaun Watson. I like the Broncos. I'm interested to see how... So the Miami game was the first game all year where Deshaun... I think it was the first game in his career, actually, where Deshaun Watson wasn't sacked.
Yeah.
Which is special. Reminds me a lot of Cam at times.
Especially as the Texans' O-line is not very good.
And you're coming up against Von Miller, probably... I mean, he's definitely in the conversation for the best rusher in the league.
Yeah, still.
And Bradley Chubb.
Probably the best up-and-coming edge rusher in the league. So
it's not a good combination.
I'm interested to see how that's going to work out. There's no one on the Texans O-line who you think is like, wow, he can like tackle that guy. Not tackle as in like tackle, but he can deal with that guy.
I think the key then for the Texans is to let your playmakers
make plays. Yeah.
Throw the ball quickly. You've got a guy like Hopkins who's going to be able to turn a 5-yard pass into a 15-yard gain. You've now got Demaryius Thomas.
Bring down something that you just fling in the air.
Exactly.
That catch, by the way, incredible.
Oh, that was...
well, not catch, but...
Yeah.
How do you catch like this? Like, how do you have the awareness?
I'll teach you later, it's fine.
The thing with the Texans as well is, as great as JJ Watt is having an individually good season, I'm still waiting for that defense to actually do something.
Yeah. JJ Watt's having a great season.
Because the Broncos have a really good running game. Case Keenum, when he's allowed to roll out the pocket, is playing pretty well, so they need...
Keenum he's quite unique among quarterbacks in that I think he throws better when he's off balance and disorientated.
He really does. Some of the throws he was making last week against Kansas City were insane. But where was he? Not on 2 feet and not in the pocket. It's weird, but...
You almost have to like scheme chaos.
Yeah.
The other thing we haven't mentioned yet, the loss of Will Fuller, will that impact the Texans' offense in any way? They've obviously traded for DT, which we'll talk about in a bit.
I don't know.
I really like Will Fuller.
Yeah, but I think the Demaryius Thomas trade says that they're in on it now.
Yeah.
They still feel like they could win it now.
I love that mindset.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it more in the trade section, but I'm sick and tired of this kind of perennially building for the future mindset.
Yeah. No.
Especially when you're a team that has a legitimate shot, like you said, at some kind of AFC title, if not Super Bowl.
It's like what the Rams are doing. The Rams did not have to trade for Dante Fowler, but
even
they did.
as high as a third.
Yeah.
Just because they needed more edge presence. And they might only have him for 7 games, but that 7 games might win them their first Super Bowl as Los Angeles, as the new Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah.
As opposed to the old. Saints Rams, on that topic. Max, you've gone Saints.
I have, and this is the thing. If you,
do you know? I'm sorry. I write people's names above the team that they picked, and I've wrote CM above Rams, obviously Colin and Mark, and then above Saints I wrote NO for New Orleans. Why? Why did I do
the
that?
New Orleans Saints? Yeah, New Orleans do pick the Saints to win.
The thing with the Rams is offensively they've played really well.
Yeah.
But last week against Green Bay, when they were pressured to the point where it's like, oh, they're coming back at us again, they didn't play so well because Jared Goff wasn't making the kind of throws that he was making. Gurley was very sort of methodical. In the end, they pulled it away.
But that's the point. They won.
They did win, but this is the difference. Okay, so they just beat Minnesota. They just beat Green Bay. They're just beating some of these really good teams, and now they have to go to this other team stadium. They have to leave California for one of the first times this season into one of the hardest places. No, you know what? It is the hardest place to go play. It's harder than Foxborough. Yeah, because you can go to New England in September and win. It's not unheard of. But you can't just wander into New Orleans right now with the defense showing up. The offense is firing on all cylinders. Drew Brees is completing more than 75% of his passes, which is ridiculous. Yeah. I'm sorry, I can't see them. I don't think this makes the Rams a bad team because
you're still would they be 8-1, 7-1.
But the thing, I'm just looking at the way that the Rams are playing some of these games, and their offense is pulling it out. But
that's the point. They've pulled them out. I think the Packers outplayed the Rams on every level, special teams. Well, maybe not special teams because Johnny Hecker was an absolute beast that game.
Yeah,
great. But offense and defense, and yet still the Rams came out with the win. Even if the Saints outplay them, I think they'll still come out with the win because they've got Sean McVay's play calling and some.
Ultimately, I think Sean McVay is a younger, better version of Sean Payton. But there's the thing. Sean Payton has all the experience. He's probably the one person that's going to be able to unlock whatever it is that Sean McVay's thinking and do the opposite.
Yeah.
And for me, New Orleans are the best team right now in football. I think they are amazing.
Big cool.
And I think they could win the NFC if they keep playing the way that they're playing. Yeah. And key to that is beating the Rams here.
I mean, let's be honest. Last year, they were probably one of the favourites for the NFC until... I'd say they were the favourites for the NFC until the Minnesota Miracle happened.
Yeah.
And we could be talking about them as the reigning Super Bowl champions very easily, rather than the Rams, the Eagles. What I will say is, I've said this mindset before when talking about the Browns. In close games, you find out how good your coaching staff is. And the fact that the Browns are consistently winning these... Well, it's either how good your coaching staff is or how good your superstar players are. And, Jared Goff is playing really well, and I really like him. Jared Goff is a system quarterback who is a product of Sean McVay's system. I don't think that's very controversial. He would not be putting up these numbers if he was in the Carolina Panthers system, for example. Although, in fairness, it's a lot better this year. The Giants system, that's just... Yeah. Well, actually, I like Patrick. A bad system. He would not be putting up these... Like Jacksonville. He would not be putting up these numbers. But the fact that, do I want to say it? It's just that kind of magic dust. That Ty Montgomery fumble should not have happened, ever. Ty Montgomery, speaking logically, Ty Montgomery should have listened to his coaches, should have kneeled in the end zone. Beyond that, even if he thought it was returnable, which arguably it was, he should have taken it out and just not fumbled. How many times do kick returners fumble? It just doesn't happen. And yet it happened. There's some kind of magic around the Rams team. I don't think they'll go 16-0. But
they'll go 19-0, right?
I'm not going to make any bold predictions here. I don't want to lose my Mystic Column tag, but they'll lose in the NFC title game to the Panthers. I can say is I'm hella excited for this game.
I can see the Rams winning this game. I'm not saying they won't. I'm just saying if I had to put money on it, right now, I'd pick the Saints to win the whole thing. So
interesting. And the final one, we birthday Patriots Packers, we had to talk about it. GOAT 1 v GOAT 2. I'm not going to say which one is which. Depends on your personal opinion. For me, personally, it's GOAT 2 and GOAT 3.
On the boat.
GOAT on a boat.
Yeah.
We've all gone Patriots. I think that's less to do with the Brady-Rodgers debate and more to do with the fact that the Packers have kind of are appearing as if they've sort of thrown in the towel a bit. And, you know, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I am peed off with the fact that Clinton Dix was traded. And I'm also annoyed. Obviously, he was fuming about Ty Montgomery, apparently, last week. Belichick's got McCarthy's number.
McCarthy...
So bad.
I think it was ESPN I was watching, and they're absolutely right in that McCarthy and Rodgers' relationship is over. And one of them has to leave Green Bay for Rodgers to be successful in the way he should be.
I saw an interesting article that was saying McCarthy will be the next Browns head coach.
Yeah, I think that's a very good shout because he's a good coach. It's just
he's just a bit tired.
Relationships expire, and Rodgers is notoriously hard to work with.
Yeah,
players will say
when
it.
You're that good.
Yeah,
yeah.
And I think in terms of the teams, the Packers have a young, exciting defense, but losing Clinton Dix, like he's not the best, but he's still young enough.
Good qualities, like starting safeties, are hard to find in the NFL. Safety is, I mean, I can't comment because every position looks hard to play for me, but people in the know, film reviewers that I follow, say that safety is the hardest position to A, analyse and B, play, because it's wholly scheme dependent. So they could be doing something that you think is stupid, but actually they're doing exactly what they were told to do. And that's incredibly hard to just play that role. And Clinton Dix, yes, wasn't the best safety in the league. He wasn't an Earl Thomas or a Landon Collins, but he was still, you know, a top 10 safety.
And fancy trading away your prime safety before playing a game against Tom Brady. I know the date and everything, but to me, it feels like the Packers yet again have thrown in the towel on a season in Aaron Rodgers' prime. Yeah. And it's blasphemous to me that you are treating this guy this way. Get rid of his coach, you get rid of his defense, you get rid of his favorite receiver. Now, I like the Green Bay receiving core, actually. I think they've proven to be pretty good. Devontae Adams, Geronimo Allison, Marquez Valdes-Scantling. No, they're all playing well. Jimmy Graham is playing better, I think, for Green Bay this year than he played for Seattle outside the red zone. But the Patriots have a really good receiving core. They've got a better offensive line, but they've got a better defense.
The Patriots don't have a run game. Their leading rusher last week in terms of attempts was Cordell Patterson, a wide receiver.
Is Michelle not back this week?
He's week to week.
Oh, okay.
So he could be, he could not be.
I'll tell you what, who isn't playing this game?
But still, it's Tom Brady.
Montgomery.
It's Tom Brady.
The other thing is,
can't see him losing.
Is it Shaq Mason? He was injured last week. He's Brady's god, probably the best player on that O-line. I don't know if he's going to be back for... So Michelle was at Patriots practice yesterday. Mason was missing. So that's something to watch out for because Mason is a really good player.
Packers don't have a bad front seven. No. Defensive line
Mike
anyway.
Daniels.
Never mind. Forget the linebackers, but the front four isn't bad. I would prefer to see the Packers win this game because
it would be more exciting,
prefer Aaron Rodgers. But ultimately, I don't think this game will be decided necessarily by the quarterbacks.
No. And the Patriots at home, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so...
Hey, Cam goes to Foxborough and beats him whenever he wants.
Should we just do, put a sheet across there and just talk to ourselves?
We'll just open it up at some point and they'll go, Cam Newton is, and then we'll just shut it again.
You know, when you're in a limousine, not that I'm ever in a limousine, and you can press the button and it just brings...
Hey guys, how you doing?
Yeah. No, not today.
You are why. Right, this new segment. So on NFL Network, they did something called Grade My Trade. Great name. Well come up with. It's almost as if they have millions of pounds behind them, or millions of dollars, that should be. We, unfortunately, don't have that money. But I thought of this cheeky number on the way back from Hallow Scream last night, which was great if you're in the area. Check it out. Which faction won the transaction?
Oh, dear.
Wow.
NFL Network, if you want me in your ideas team, please do hit me up. So we'll start from, we won't go all the way back to Mac and Gordon and blah blah. exciting trades, but we did talk about them. Carlos Hyde, we spoke about briefly on the show, so we can skip that. The first one we're going to start with, Amari Cooper, traded from Oakland to the Cowboys for a first-round pick. Which faction won the transaction? Wow, keep the hype levels up, guys.
Long term, the Raiders won, but now the Cowboys won because the Raiders now have no one to throw the ball to.
Do you really think the Raiders are going to use that pick well?
Shots fired at John Gruden.
Do you know
and his
what?
scouting team.
I will say this. I think Gruden is creating a new team in his image.
Yeah.
And based on what he's done in the past, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but right now it is a shocking thing. But
Do you reckon he's just going to try and tank the season to get as high a pick as possible?
yeah, of course he is.
He's 100% doing that.
He might have a 10-year deal, but we don't know necessarily when he can be fired in that deal. There'll be something there.
Yeah.
And he's thinking, okay, right, so if I lose the first year, it's fine because I'm rebuilding. Okay, but then you've got to leave me with a second year to see what these guys can do,
Yeah.
and probably another year. By which point, I'll get rid of Derek Carr, which means you can't get rid of me for another 2 years because I've got to find my quarterback and raise him too. So suddenly he's bought himself 6 years.
Yeah.
He's played it well.
He's smart. You know, it's like he's just taken over a Madden franchise and switched coach firing off.
Yeah.
He can just do what he wants this year.
But I think the Cowboys win this trade now because Dak Prescott now has a bona fide number one receiver, which doesn't necessarily mean he will be continuously thrown to him, but it means that defenses now have to realize that they can run the ball and pass the ball, which they really couldn't do before.
The toss-up is essentially you get Amari Cooper who's young. He's only 6 months older than Calvin Ridley. So, you know, in terms of he's got experience and youth. You compare him, the way I always think of it, if you took Amari Cooper in the first round of the draft, how would you feel? Bearing in mind that if you took him in the first round of the draft, you'd also have him for 5 years.
Yeah.
Whereas the Cowboys only have him for, a year and a half?
I don't know, to be honest.
I just, in terms of getting first round rookies, I tend to be guaranteed production because it's hard to go wrong. Teams do go wrong, but a lot of the time, you know, even if it's not superstar production, it's good player production.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper, for me, isn't a superstar. He's had a couple of good years. He's still on his rookie deal, which is probably why it cost him so much, because you trade for contracts, not for players. But ultimately, would I have given up a third for Amari Cooper? Maybe. Would I have given up a second?
No.
A stretch, but no way am I giving up a first for Amari Cooper. You know, considering the other players that have been traded for first round picks, Brandon Cooks, who this year has been one of the best receivers in the league.
Yeah.
Garoppolo didn't even get traded for a first, although there's questions.
No, but
conspiracy theories about that. I can't. Who else has been traded for a first? Blooming Donovan McNabb got traded for a first copy of Khalil Mack, who's, you know, one of the best players at his position in the league. Amari Cooper isn't even in that discussion, and in maybe the top 20 best receivers in the league.
No, but I suppose it's a need. Although I will say that I find there's two ironies with it. First of all, they've just traded for a guy who drops balls just like Dez did, and that's why you got rid of him. And secondly,
Amari Puberty Cooper.
You wouldn't give
because his balls keep dropping.
Yeah. You wouldn't give him. I gotta try and talk through that. You wouldn't give anything for Earl Thomas.
Yeah, that's the worst thing.
That is the thing that makes no sense.
If you were willing to trade that first round pick, why would you not go for Pro Bowl safety, one of the best in the league, all pro safety, I would say, who will really make a tangible difference? Whereas, really, what's happening on offense is Dak good? Is that good? We need to help Dak. Here, Dak, let's prove it. Let's see if you're good with a great receiver who's not actually a great receiver, but we traded first round for him, so he has to be a good receiver for us. And if he's not a good receiver, we'll blame it on you, and then you won't get a second contract. But you actually definitely get a second contract because we've basically already guaranteed it to you. And because we're the Dallas Cowboys and our management system is defunct and broken, Jerry Jones should retire.
They should have. No,
the Jones family should retire.
They should have traded Jason Garrett to a black hole. And start again because
isn't Oakland called the black hole?
Yeah,
like informally.
Yeah. The offensive scheming is atrocious. It's so boring. It's predictable.
Is it Schottenheimer is their coordinator who's about 9,000 years
Garrett's
old.
in charge of that though.
Yeah.
So I think that needs to change before anything else.
But I think the Raiders have done a good job at accumulating picks. Admittedly, it now means they have just traded away all their good players.
It's a very Madden way of going about things.
Very Brown's way of going about it.
Has John Gruden just been playing Madden for the last several years and he thinks he's in it?
He has nothing else to do other than on the Monday and a Sunday, so yeah.
Next trade was Eli Apple. 4th and a 7th. I think it's a kind of... Which faction won the transaction? probably the Giants, because let's be honest, Eli Apple never played like a first-round pick.
No.
And people have been saying, oh, he had a good couple of games at the start of this year. Yeah, he played all right. Didn't play like a great cornerback, but played enough to maybe be a starting cornerback. And then got injured and then played awfully again. And I think it's just a needs-must trade. The Saints needed another outside corner so they can move P.J. Williams into the nickel.
This is the thing I don't get. You could have had Patrick Peterson.
Yeah, if you
and
really
you traded Eli Apple. What?
I guess the problem was the Saints don't have a first or a third round pick this year. So they still have their second.
Send something. Send something else.
Send Drew Brees. Send Teddy Bridgewater. Although I guess it's a Cardinals.
Yeah,
so
but the thing is, as well as Bridgewater is...
Or trade Teddy Bridgewater to get some picks so that you can trade for Patrick Peterson.
They could have really finessed it, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Because Apple was drafted the same year as Vernon Hargreaves, and it was always like, oh, which corner will go first? Well, it really didn't matter because they both suck. Like, they do.
Hargreaves is better than Apple. But...
Is Teddy Bridgewater even their backup now that they've got Hill, who seems to be able to do
I think
Bridgewater's like their proper backup, and Taysom Hill is like, oh, what position shall we play you in this? Did you see that apparently there was a play where all three of them were on the pitch at the same time?
Yeah.
Classic Peyton. I hate the man, but I love that. So we say New York.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's not as bad as some of the other trades. Like Snacks. Damon Snacks Harrison. Conditional 5th round pick to Detroit.
Conditional?
Yeah.
What's the condition?
I think I don't know what the condition is, but it's probably something like if he makes the Pro Bowl, it will go up to a 4th round pick or something.
Okay.
Or if he plays awfully, it goes down to a 6th round pick. But
I think the Giants won that trade.
Oh, controversial.
So
I kind of agree with you.
The thing is you have to look at it. Yeah, he is pretty good at his position, but ultimately, what the Giants need is just to hit that reset button.
Yeah.
They're not bothered necessarily with what they get back. What they're bothered about is where they're going. And offloading his contract to a team who's not a direct competitor. Exactly. And this is a guy who's got a big contract on that team. We need rid of it. It's the same thing with Eli Manning, that they're going to ship him, but I think they're going to do it the humane way and let him retire first before...
I was going to say, do you reckon anyone wants to pick him up?
Eli's got a no trade clause in his contract.
So
really?
Yeah.
So they're going to do the humane thing and let him play himself out his misery.
When you said humane the first time, I thought you were talking about a person called like Hugh. And I was like, I don't know that.
But my point with the Giants is they are kind of heading in the direction of the Raiders.
Yeah.
But the difference is they have Odell, they have Saquon, they have Sterling Shepard, they have Evan Ingram. They have a core of young guys who are on smaller, excluding Beckham, on smaller contracts. You need to offload. That's why I was surprised Collins didn't go, because I thought it was a complete reset, but at the same time he is very good at his position, and he's like still young enough.
Of their defense, I think. And that's the thing with Harrison. He's essentially a nose tackle, a block eater, if you like. He's 30 in a couple of weeks, so that position is so physical and so demanding. He's also huge. He's not going to be able to do a Brady in place till he's 42. He's not going to be able to do a Breeze in place till he's 39. I reckon he's got 3-4 years left in him at a stretch. Yeah. Will he get another contract after this one? I honestly don't know. I don't. The Lions are a great destination for New York, but not really for the Lions, because they kind of need... It's like, oh yeah, we've got a win now mentality, but we're not going to win now.
No.
And I guess I like it, because I like that win now mentality, but you've got to be realistic about it as well. I'd agree with you in Giants, which is probably quite controversial.
Yeah.
Mark, any thoughts?
No.
Okay.
I appreciate that. Demaryius Thomas.
The Texans won that.
4th rounder and a 7th, and they swapped 7th rounders. Yeah, I think needs... The only bad thing with Thomas is his contract. He's due like a $14 million cap hit next year, which is almost quarterback money. So I understand why the Broncos wanted to offload him. I understand why the Texans can afford to take him, because obviously they got Deshaun Watson on his rookie deal.
He hasn't played as well in the last couple of years, but then again, he's had Trevor Siemian and Case Keenum, Paxton Lynch. Now he's got Deshaun Watson, who's not as good as Peyton, but it's that same sort of deal.
And I think, especially also with, DT was always paired with Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah.
Who is a great receiver, don't get me wrong, but he's not DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins attracts attention like no one else, apart from maybe Odell and other top 5 receivers. So hopefully he'll get a couple more open looks. And they've also got that Kiki Kuti, who I quite like. This maybe opens up the game for him. And also makes sense just Will Fuller injured.
Yeah, that's
get
what I was
yourself
gonna
more
say.
reinforcements.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I think Texans won that one, but equally Broncos, fair play. Golden Tate is an interesting one because it's only a third rounder, but equally he's only guaranteed to be playing for 7 games.
See, this is the thing with the Golden Tate trade, and it was a great logic. It's not mine. They've accepted the fact their offensive line isn't that good this year, and they can't run the ball. So you're going to go get a wide receiver who is a bit like Sammy Watkins. When he catches the ball, he then runs with it.
Deadly after the
so
catch.
they are stacking that part of it because they know that if they can make those shorter passes, those players can make the gains for themselves. And I think that's the way they're thinking about it. Golden Tate is someone that will attract attention to, and suddenly now that receiving core, all of them are guys that you want to really be double covering.
Aguilar, Jeffrey, and now
This
Tate.
is the thing. If you're Wentz, you're obviously excited. If you're Aguilar, I think this might be the beginning of the end for him because he's only really had production for Philly when he's been in the slot.
Yeah.
Golden Tate's best position is the slot. If I'm looking at Aguilar and Tate, I'm definitely putting Tate in the slot. Aguilar gets shoved out wide, where he was pretty ineffective in his first few years. I don't think he's going to get picked up by the Eagles when his rookie contract runs out. If anything, I think he might be traded away. But I am excited to see Alshon Jeffrey, who I think is criminally underrated as a receiver.
I think he's great.
Golden Tate. He's exciting, isn't he?
He's a bit like Larry Fitzgerald, I think, in many ways. Just a really safe pair of hands. Like, maybe not incredible after the...
Reminds me of
after it catches
AJ
it.
Green, I think. Maybe like a lesser AJ Green.
Really?
Well, like neither of them are the speediest players, particularly at this stage of their careers, but they're both... You know,
Sure hands.
if they had a 99 rating on Madden, it would be a spectacular catch. Right, we've got less than a minute. Ty Montgomery, 7th rounder. Who won that one?
Green Bay, get rid of it. Get rid of it. Get rid of the trash.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 2027th rounder, if anything. He got traded for literally like 5p and a packet of chewing gum. You know, I think Ty Montgomery won the
I
trade
think
because he
after
was
that
able to get out
game,
of
it's a
there.
bit savage.
Dante Fowler for a 3rd rounder.
The Rams just
Rams
get
needed
better.
him. Jags managed to offload a 1st rounder. And finally, Clinton Dix to the Redskins. The crowd say the Redskins won that one. Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back on Tuesday with our show as per usual. Sorry about the songs again. Check us out on Mixcloud. It should be uploaded there. We'll see you on Tuesday. All the best. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye.